This story takes place in 20,000 BC, somewhere in the Northern Hemisphere, where we introduced to a prehistoric ground sloth, Sydney the sloth. Mammals such as mammoths and mastodon had to learn to coexist in order to survive the Ice Age. Sid struggles with his family dynamics. His parents tried to abandon him on many occasions during his younger years, and why he always found a way back to them. These actions of rejection and neglect play a big part of how he views himself and carries out other relationships. He was raised by his grandmother Gladys, who also shares some of the mental struggles Sid did. He was never told why his family abandoned him, so he internalized those emotions. And since he was always trying to prove that he is capable of being a leader and yearns to be a part of a pack, Sid struggles with taking responsibility for his own choices as an adult because of his inferiority complex and leads a life influenced by others' opinion of himself. Sid struggles with a number of mental health disorders, which has caused him some difficulties in navigating and maintaining strong relationships with people. He struggles with ADHD, which makes it more difficult for him to stay still for a long time, complete one task before starting another, and also following through with one conversation before beginning another. Sid also has gracious ideas that do not align with his reality. This mindset stems from his delusional disorder. His grandmother Gladys also shares some of these traits. Lastly, he suffers from dependent personality disorder, which is a type of anxious personality disorder. Sid does not know how to create or maintain healthy boundaries because of his subconscious fear of rejection. He is very trusting of other people, even if it means putting his own life at risk. Sid's loyalty is often mistaken for dependent personality disorder, and many people in his life have taken advantage of him without his awareness. During the next counseling section, Dr. Adler is going to try to help Sid dig deeper into his childhood experiences in order to help him discover where his anxious behavior is stemming from and to help him build genuine connection with people that love and support him. Here, we are observing Sid's second counseling section with Dr. Adler. Hello, Sid. How are you today?
Hi, Mr. Adler. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. So, what brings you here today?
For many years, I've actually been feeling less of myself. I often feel disconnected with everybody around me, and no one seems to care. As a result, I try not to associate myself with a lot of people. I don't really like making new friends. But really, deep and sound, I want to be part of a tribe. But that has not been my luck in the past.
Okay, Sid, can you tell me why you feel less of yourself, or as you stated, disconnected from everyone around you?
Well, sir, I feel as though no one cares about me. I've been living on my own for quite some time. Well, really, I've been living with my grandmother Gladys. She kind of looks like she's been through three ice ages. Um, that's not the point. She's a great woman, but I feel guilty being around her. I feel as though she takes care of me more than I take care of her.
Okay, Sid, you said no one cares about you, and I'm wondering if you could tell me what the term community means to you.
I think a community is kind of like a family, except I wouldn't feel as bad as if they kicked me out. I think a community is a tribe of people that are different in many ways, but still find ways to support and love each other and are always there for one another. I think I like the sound of a community more than I like the sound of a family because my parents pretty much ruined that for me.
Have you actually tried associating yourself with people in your community?
Yeah. I have friends like Diego and Manny. Um, Manny is a mammoth and Diego is a saber-toothed tiger. Our relationship was kind of rocky at the beginning because of my fear of getting hurt by people, and not to mention the size of those guys. They hit the gym like every day. They're super buff, like ripped. I'm pretty sure Diego just does cardio and deadlifting. But the point is that deep down, I feel like they might kick me out at any moment. Sometimes I feel like they're closer with each other than with me. And I hold that in because that's what my family used to do. I tend to reject everybody I form a relationship with before they can reject me. Granny is the only person I can't get rid of so far. She hasn't turned me away.
So you think your friends are going to reject you?
Yeah, I do believe so. I mean, if not now, then eventually.
Okay, Sid, can you recall any moments in the past where you felt rejected or abandoned?
Yeah, this is kind of hard, but when I was little, my parents always made me feel like I wasn't good enough. They even told me sometimes that I wasn't good enough. And as such, I don't like to experience rejection because it brings me back to the way my parents made me feel. So I keep my distance from people that I like or even friends that I make. It kind of reminds me of when Granny uses her walking stick when she gets closer to the edge of a cliff. She hasn't fallen off yet because she always has that stick to help her.
It sounds like your parents abandoning you at a tender age has a lot of impact on your current relationship with people. And I'm wondering, how do you reconcile that relationship?
When I think of the past and what happened to me, I often feel very upset, like super angry. I was rejected by my own parents, but that's because I'm not good enough and I can't get anything right. So I kind of understand why they did it. I remember when I saw them for the last time. I didn't really know it was the last time at the moment, but I don't know. It just felt different. It was a long day of migrating and we did a ton of walking, so we were all pretty tired. And then at night, when it came to going to sleep, my mom insisted that I have my own little cave. And it's kind of weird because the rest of my family was sharing a cave by themselves, but I wasn't. But I didn't think much about it. Anyway, in the morning, I was woken up by these dodo birds plucking at my head. It's kind of strange because that hasn't really happened to me before. And then after a few hours, like trying to search for my family and calling after my parents and my siblings, I realized that they weren't coming back. Like, this was the time that they actually abandoned me, and I wasn't going to be able to find them. I was super sad at first because that hurt. So I cried and I ate a lot. And then I decided I wanted to pull myself together. And I'm going to find a tribe of my own. A tribe of people or mammals that really like me for me and people and mammals that looked like me. So after my morning meditation, I decided that I wanted to prove that I was capable of being loved and that I was capable of being part of a family. I can't have people reject me like that again.
Thank you for sharing such a difficult part of your life with me, Sid. It sounds as if those feelings are still raw inside of you. You still feel very hurt by how your family treated you back then. You mentioned that you feel like you have to prove yourself worthy to become part of a family or a tribe. What does that look to you? And when do you think you're going to be enough for yourself and for
Well, I feel like I have to prove myself because as long as I can remember, my mom and dad have told me and made me feel like I didn't belong. Maybe it's because I'm more like Granny that I'd like to admit. I mean, Granny and I have some pretty great dreams, and we're not afraid of going through with them and proving to others that we are capable. I want to find a partner and create a family where our kids have both loving and supportive parents. I also want to create this mobile juice bar, which I think is a great idea. So listen. Um, I'm gonna have this juice bar, right? And I'm gonna go around and collect berries and different vegetables and whatever. And when I'm migrating and the other mammals are migrating, it's strenuous and people get thirsty and hungry. I'll be the one to provide them with the drinks and the food that they will need. Because mammals are herbivores and omnivores, and the migration, like I said, can be super tiring. This business would help other travelers stay healthy and fresh.
That's so great, Sid. You sound very ambitious, but I think you've got a little off track. Why is it that you feel like you have to prove yourself to others?
Why do I have to prove myself to others? Because oftentimes I feel like I need to be cared for and nobody shows up. If I'm not there, I really do think that no one will notice. I know that it takes some time for me to understand things or to follow through with directions or to understand. Wait, where am I? Oh, yeah, I remember. Um, I just wish I wasn't that way sometimes. My train of thought seems to be running on a hyper speed and no one can really keep up with me. But I try to be there for others and I carry their load and sometimes even more. But I don't really feel like other people understand me and they don't do the same for me.
Sid, please correct me if I'm wrong, but earlier you mentioned that you find it difficult to stay on task and follow directions.
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes because, like I said before, I'm always thinking of something else, so I can't really follow through conversations very easily.
It sounds like your purpose for opening this juice bar is not to help people, but more so to have them accept you into their tribe. This is your way of proving that you are capable of doing something important. You want to feel needed. Opening your business, even with the best of intentions, won't change the way the other mamas see you, Sid. Truthfully, most of them have already made up their minds about you. And what do you think about that? It can be a lot to take in. So take your time. You don't have to.
I think you may be right. I think that deep down inside, while I do think my juice bar is an amazing idea, it'll provide very delicious and nutritious drinks for weary travelers. I really do want to be accepted by others and I want to feel needed and important. If this is the case, what would you have me do? How would I become some part of other people's tribes?
Sid, honestly, I cannot advise you on what decisions to make. I am only here to help you look at the choices from a different perspective. Whether you commit to running the juice bar or not, it's your own choice and responsibilities to make. Okay, Sid, let's take a look at this from another perspective. I would like us to do a little role play. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I guess it sounds like a good idea.
Okay, Sid. I would like you to imagine and act as if you're already a part of a tribe that is loving and accepting of you in the ways you would love to be accepted and loved. Demonstrate what it feels like for you. And when thinking of this, I would love you to use the words like, if only I could be. For example, if only I could be accepted into this tribe. I want you to tell me how you are going to feel.
Okay, I think I'm following. I think I can do that. So, if only I could be accepted in this tribe, I would feel as important and as needed as Manny and Diego. The other mammals will come to me for help, and I would feel accepted and capable. Um, if only I could be reliable and stay on task, I wouldn't need Diego hovering over my shoulder when I go forage for berries and vegetables for dinner. That would make me feel dependable. If only I could be as nifty as Manny, I would be able to find the best firewood in less than an hour. Normally, it takes me a few hours, and then the guys just make their own fire because they just can't wait and it gets too cold. But if I was able to do that, that would make me feel trusted and seen as responsible. And If only I could be less anxious. Other people around me would probably talk to me, or more so, I wouldn't be afraid to talk to them. And I also think it would help my juice bar business. And if only I could demonstrate what it looks like to be loved and accepted, I would be a more confident sloth. And I think I would definitely be proud of being me. I would be there for Granny. I would be more attentive to her needs. And I'd feel a lot better about myself because if only I could be all these things, then I could be there for my Granny.
Okay, now that I've seen what you would like your reality to look like, I'm going to challenge you to try and act this for a week. I would like you to try to talk to different people, invest more time with your friends, and also find different ways to bond with Granny. How does this sound?
I think I can do it. I mean, I already have Manny and Diego, and they have stuck by my side through some very tough times. I remember at the beginning of our relationship, we rescued this little human baby, and as you know, like human babies aren't that smart. So it took a toll on our relationship. We used to argue a lot, but looking back at everything that we've done and some of the mistakes I've made and people that I've trusted, Manny and Diego never left my side. In fact, they encouraged me to still be myself and to still be willing to put myself out there.
How would you describe your friendship with Manny and Diego? Do you see any comparison with them to a tribe or a family?
Um, yeah, I I think I've been looking at our friendship from a distance, but close up, I think that despite us being so different, Manny being a mammoth and Diego being a saber-toothed tiger, they're kind of like my brothers, like my real tribe, my family, in fact. I mean, we still fight, and Diego doesn't like my cooking because it's mainly berries and greens. And he said something about like it doesn't go with his diet. I don't know. I think he's just ganging up on me. But other than that, I think that they've stuck by my side while other people's have left me, and Granny as well. So yeah, they're my family. They're my tribe.
I am proud of how far you've come during this counseling section. You have reached the point where you can better articulate and visualize your dream and want. You wanted to be part of a family, and you have realized that Manny and Diego are your family. Families come in different sizes and shapes, and you have realized that your family does too. Your friends or your brothers, as you put it, happen to be mammoth and a saber-tooth tiger, who are supportive people that you have met so far. Granny, on the other hand, is part of your biological family and has not left your side, even when the rest of your biological family has done so.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Adler. When we first started this session, I was nervous because you're Dr. Adler, like you know everything, and I just felt like I didn't really know much or like how to express how I felt. But I've come to realize how important Manny, Diego, and Granny are to me. I mean, I don't want to lose sight of how much they mean to me and how they are my forever family.
You couldn't have said that any better, Sid.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Whoa, the time has really passed. I can't believe how much we've discussed. You're really good at your job, Mr. Adler.
Yes, Sid, our counseling section is coming to an end. Do you have any questions about what we discussed, or is there something you would like to briefly talk about before we part ways?
Yeah, there's actually one thing. I don't really remember the assignment you gave me. I remember you said something of acting as if or if only I could. What was it again?
Yes, this week, I would like you to imagine and act as if you are able to be a part of a tribe that is loving and accepting of you in ways you would want to feel loved and accepted. Looking at my notes and what I wrote down about what you said today, I've seen that you want to be loved and accepted. you would be more confident. You'll be a more confident slot, and you'll be proud of yourself, and you'll be more attentive to the needs of Granny. So, with all these statements, I would like you to keep in mind and try it out in your reality. On top of that, I would also like you to keep reciting positive affirmations before you start your day. Recite this. You have to recite things like, I am brave. I am smart. I am capable of doing hard things. I am a kind friend. I am a caring grand slot. Does this make any sense to you? Do you have any further questions?
Wow, no, this makes great sense actually. I know successful people recite affirmations all the time. Like on my migration journey, a bunch of people were talking about the squirrel who like went after this nut, right? And for some reason, he could like never either catch the nut or he couldn't bury it properly. But I'm pretty sure he recited affirmations every day. So I'm hoping that eventually he found the nut.
Well said. I would like you to focus all your acts on yourself. Act as if assignments and reciting of your daily positive affirmations until we meet next week for our next section.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mr. Adler.
All right, Sid. Take care, and I will see you next week. Same day, same time.
So in this section of the video, I'm going to summarize some of the techniques we used and how we got to the point where Sid was able to realize that he is capable of love. So in the beginning, Sid the Sloth began his counseling journey as a codependent, anxious, and insecure sloth. He still made decisions based on his feelings tied to neglect as a young sloth and rejection from his parents. Dr. Adler had to expose and challenge his faulty logic. He wanted to help Sid to come to the reasoning that he truly yearned to please others because he was really finding ways to avoid rejection. This process was part of re-educating the client to foster a sense of belonging and community interest, as well as setting healthy goals and behaviors. Along with that, Dr. Adler used recollection technique to help Sid uncover his true feelings about the moment he realized his family was not coming back. By recalling that painful but important moment in Sid's life, the counselor was able to guide and encourage Sid to take a look at his current life from a different perspective. During this session, Adler attempted to change Sid's mindset or framework to see things in a more healthy way. Sid was stuck in his private logic, which limited him from making deeper connections with those around him. He thought that he was inferior to others, like Manny and Diego, so he held himself back. He understood that he was dependent on his granny, but didn't really, truly understand that he was projecting the fear of being lost or eventually getting rejected again. In order to begin the journey of changing his private logic, he needed to address this critical moment. Sid also came to understand that big changes did not happen immediately. The main goal of the session was to help Sid redefine what a tribe and family looked like. At the beginning of the session, Sid thought that the members of a tribe had to look alike and get along, and that even the leader or parents of the tribe had the potential of rejecting those who did not fit their mold or those who did not abide by their ideas. Part of assessing the individual's functioning was to explore individual dynamism and family constellations. Sid had to look at the way he fit into a tribe that he helped to create. He needed to ask himself, why do these mammals or why do these people continue to stick by my side? His constant subconscious fear of rejection fed into his faulty logic. His conscious self was irresponsible at times and very insecure. It held him back from creating genuine relationships. Before Sid started his therapeutic journey with his counselor, Dr. Adler, he was prone to making overgeneralizations, minimization, or denial of his basic worth, and stuck in faulty values. The technique used to help Sid realize his faulty logic is called spitting into one's cup. Sid's idea of starting a juice bar was great, but he really wanted to please everyone around him through this type of service in hopes of being recognized and accepted. He wanted others to need him, but in reality, he needed their validation even more. The counselor exposed Sid's true intentions and helped him to understand that it takes a lot of change. It takes a lot to change someone's mind. So this juice bar wouldn't necessarily be something that would change the minds of those around him. In another word, this juice bar could possibly be a means to no end in trying to receive fake love from other people. Through all of this, Sid was able to recognize that Diego, Manny, and Granny loved him for being himself. They may not have been the world, but they eventually became his world. They were his chosen family. And lastly, Sid was asked to complete an assignment where he acted as if he was already part of the tribe that he wanted to become part of, where he was loved and where he was accepted. He stated that he was comfortable with this assignment and that this assignment was even demonstrable as he did in the session. So with all of this being said, Sid and Dr. Adler are planning on meeting next week for Sid's third counseling session to view his process of growth and yes.